one that pertains to the court is the same. I do have the budget that the board will be voting on in front of me. But if you want a larger printout, I have this.
Streaming.
Okay, great.
Right out line. Bruce, I'm gonna let the clerk address the issues in terms of budgetary items, because they're the ones that are getting them on to using postage, supplies.
So it starts at the bottom of page 1. Okay, but I have to call the meeting to order first. So I'd like to call the Town of Rochester Town Board Special Budget Meeting to order. It's October 27th, 2025. We're getting started late at about 9:50 a.m. So first I'm going to start with the roll call. Councilwoman Alba. Present. Councilman Nguyen.
Here.
Councilman Coleman.
Here.
And Councilwoman CSEP is absent. And Supervisor Anellen is here. We are joined by Judge Laflamme and our two clerk to justices, Leanne Warren and Debbie Goodman. Thank you all for joining us this morning. We are at the end of setting the preliminary budget process. We like to have each department come and meet with the board because it's very valuable to have the input directly from staff and officials who are interacting with the department. So I thought we could take this time to review the budget lines. I kind of filled it in based on just the department aspects. And then we can talk more about some of the other needs that might not fit into the court department budget lines. And where those are in on the budget. So what you have in front of you is the tentative budget. The board has been working on that. And we do have some revisions, but there's no revisions to what you guys are looking at in there. So we are on, what did I say, page 5. So bottom of page 5. So first, that's the personnel and elected official salaries. So for elected officials, once we set the preliminary budget, we can't raise those salaries in the final budget process. So whatever we have published, that gets published on its own sheet. And so for the judges, that's the salary that we had put in. We basically we're working on a 4% wage increase for everyone in this fund, in general fund. So that's what the justice salaries reflect, and they're on here. So if we make any changes to that, I'll need to make a change to this sheet. And then for the personnel. So we did the 4% for the clerks, but then we also have the court security is budgeted in this budget line. And let me.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Difference between a security officer and court officer.
So the way we do it is one is for the court night and one is the day security.
So the security officer is the daytime.
If that's the higher number, then yes. Sorry, I'm still trying to find it.
That's fine.
Yeah, so the security officer would be the 28 hours per week. Times 4 days. And then the court officers, what we've been doing is a stipend.
Stipend on top of the constabulary.
They get like a per diem for court night because, so it's like, if it's above 4 hours though, if it goes like really, really long, then they get their hourly wage for those additional hours.
Minimum 4 hours.
Yeah, you get paid for that, a minimum of 4, and that was to incentivize the staffing.
And
that.
it's, looks like the security officer is under budget year to date. Is that because of staffing shortage?
Yeah, so that would be because we don't always have 4 days a week.
And this
covered.
budget covers a full, assume it's full staff.
Yes. Yeah, and then I'm trying to see if I made notes, but I did more for the court officer. There's more than 50, or there's more than 52
Sessions.
sessions scheduled, just because there's times
Yeah.
like the special arraignments and things that we might need someone to come in for.
They
So-
would be special proceedings, arraignments are handled in cap.
Oh, okay. So any feedback from the department on that set of budget items?
We're talking salaries.
Yeah, and then also the coverage for the security.
But no, I mean, this assumes full coverage and we would love to see that.
The other thing is we used to think about the clerk to justice as a like 28-hour per week position plus court night. But I've shifted that to like 32 because that changes the way you earn paid time off. So we did that switch last year. So I no longer, it used to be listed in the budget that way, but I'm more just trying to budget around how much you're actually working and not thinking of the court night as a special thing because you're working those hours in a predictable, regular way. And I'll double check, but I've been trying to pad all labor, just because sometimes you're working, you don't always work 32 hours a week, sometimes it's more. So we want to make sure that we have that reflected in our budget.
So the way that PTO paid time off is accrued, is that the way that it's doing now? Is that beneficial to the employees?
It is. I made that change last year.
So there were nights when we first started where court nights would go on for 6 hours, 7 hours. I hope we don't return to those days. But we have to be there if they do. How would that be dealt with in this budget? There were additional hours.
Yeah, I padded the, I'll double check. I tried to do this in every budget code, but I've already found a couple that I missed. I'm trying to pad them with just do like 3% extra in that labor line, just so we just cover any overtime or any overages. It's pretty regular, but definitely when you guys have your conference and when there's a lot going on, your hours will go. I've definitely seen that, so.
Yeah, and also it's unpredictable because.
The other thing is for people employees of the court, other than the two justices, we can reallocate budgetary money to cover, make sure that staff's never gonna work and not get paid for it.
Okay, that's
But
what we need.
we cannot change it for electeds. So, so be assured that they'll get paid.
Trust me, I know I'm not working by the hour. I spent my entire life working by the hour.
Okay.
And that also part of the clerk to justice position is that you work whenever needed. So I think that's why originally it was like that 28 hours plus, but I feel like it's like 32 plus. Because it's consistently always working that amount. So yeah, we should be good for that. And the other thing I wanted to check in about is I had gotten some input from the court officers that they were thinking that perhaps we might want to start thinking about 3 officers. Does that feel right?
We can barely get 2.
If we do go to 3, I think I would say only for criminal nights.
Well. The VTL night is a little crazy.
Oh, it's busy.
It's busier.
Yeah,
It's
I
busier,
believe
but-
it, I believe it's busier, but criminal night, we do have the officer giving them their contact sheet
yeah,
and their financial affidavit.
and then having someone sign them or.
And then having them bring the paper back. Like, we don't.
Maybe start off with criminal night and see how that goes.
That's a good.
So can you walk through what the three
So
individuals would be?
we have one always at the door, having them come in, checking them.
They have to be screened.
And then we have one officer, we have contact forms that we hand out. And if they're applying for the PD, an application. So then we have another
Public defender.
defender. So then we have another officer handing that out to the people as they, after they're screened.
Mhm.
So it'd be nice to have another officer that's always present by us.
General.
Yeah,
So what happens is you have somebody who doesn't leave the door.
Yeah.
Right? They're there for screening. Then you have all of the forms. Sometimes there are conferences. The PD will go in for a conference. And it's nice at that point to have an officer.
Right
next
there
to
by
that
the door, just in case.
That might be one of the reasons why. It would also be helpful in vehicle and traffic court because we have the special prosecutor in the conference room. And it's changing people's reaction to authority, to the court, to the special prosecutor is changing. We hear a lot more screaming. So having an officer there by the door and then one by the clerks and the judge. I think that's the thinking, and we've seen more.
Aggression.
Much more, there's more aggressiveness, and we've had harassment claims filed by the courts. On people that we had in our court, so. It's a different time.
Mhm.
Things have been changing, so I can see. Why having three people, and also because we have, people are coming in, but in 15-minute chunks. So we have, it's not like before where we would have everybody in, so when we walked into court, everybody who was on that calendar, if it was 60 cases, you had 60 people, everybody else, family, attorneys and everything else. We don't do that now, we schedule them. But we still, depending on the cases, it'll backlog. You'll have 5, 6, 7 people in the courtroom. And they're just sitting there. So you've got somebody who's watching the courtroom, somebody who's,
Yeah.
working with the judges, and then somebody who's working with the. So,
Just another 5,500.
So criminal night is twice a month.
the first and second
Mhm,
Wednesday. of the
okay.
month.
the BTL is twice a year.
So I have,
Morning.
yeah.
Would an actual trial be considered a special session or there's so?
Yeah. The special sessions are going to be your small claims.
Predictions?
Especially, yeah, there's some in proceedings. I know that, the clerks try to, schedule them when we're in court, but my sense is I don't have a second job. This is what I do, and I can make myself more flexible, which is, I think, also for the people from the court. So,
What's the marginal cost of the third officer? A, for the criminal proceedings, and then B, I guess double that for the.
So it's, basically, it's gonna be 5,500 to add a third officer for 52 weeks. So if we just do, wait.
So the
But
difference
that
is
would be-
between 2,600 and 50 or whatever.
you're gonna need, you have 2 criminals.
Yep, so I
No,
just,
she said 52 weeks, so that's every.
That's it. 48 for criminal, vehicle and traffic, and then the special.
Oh, that would cover everything, that would cover BTL.
yeah,
So 5,500 for every.
if we added 5,500, then we would have enough budgeted for a third every single court.
Can we? budget it and start with the criminal and then see.
I just added 48. I can add the 55 if you guys want, so it'd be 16.
So that's for $600.
Yeah, so it'd be
Let's do that.
16.
But you're saying not do. before?
Well, I mean, one of the suggestions was that we start with criminal and then we see how it works.
It's because we don't have the staff right now to even get to most.
But we-
Right, but
You should budget for it.
I
Right.
think
Vehicle and
But
traffic.
that is
We should budget for it, whether we need to use it or not, it's another one. I mean, we're having problems
yeah, that is not my
finding
suggestion.
coverage.
So 1620
But
would
still
be,
55.
That is
Budget
not my
the
suggestion.
right, but we'll budget the full.
Oh, you're just saying in terms of managing the costs.
I just want to call on the record, it was not my suggestion that we not do BTL because I think that there are special concerns there, and in fact, one of the cases that was recently filed about BTL case, so I think it has its.
I understand that, but we have to balance it between the fact that we can't,
Do everything.
well, not from, I'm not talking about budgetary stuff, but I'm talking about. manpower. So,
Yes.
so, but what about how many additional, just because I could go back. But if we wanted to budget for 100%, like how many additional, other than 52 nights,
special sessions.
like what would be our
They're
special?
very-
There's, you really can't,
How many special sessions did you have last year or year to date?
We can track.
But
We
usually
can
I'm
run-
not
we can run a
copying,
report.
and I don't know if a second officer is called in for those. Cause I've never seen that in.
We only use one
communication.
officer.
we
usually.
try, but if they can't, so. If there's a felony arraignment and they need a preliminary hearing, that has to be done within 144 hours. Of the first arraignment. So we're getting the paperwork and we're contacting them, look, we have a prelim scheduled tomorrow. And there's not always,
And those are pretty rare. I mean,
it is,
Yeah.
it's very rare,
Very rare, and.
but
You don't
we
have the
can't, that's
manpower
not
to
something
do
we
that.
can control.
Right, but it happens, like my last prelim was canceled. That
Correct.
happens a lot.
Yeah.
A prelim is where somebody has been given bail, they don't make bail, they have the right to have a hearing to see the charges.
Yeah.
The evidence meets the minimum.
So should we budget for one a month?
Well, yeah, cause they're, basically you'd be budgeting for a second officer, cause theoretically, ideally, there would
We have
already
some.
be someone there.
The other thing to consider for preliminary hearings is that they are accompanied by 2 sheriffs.
Or one.
Or one, but,
Usually they're coming from the jail.
right, so you have an officer.
Yeah.
And they are limited, they sit in one space and the sheriff is right there. So. It's,
So that's necessary.
So it's not a situation where you're taking them into custody at that point. in
oh,
time.
no, they're already in
They're in
custody.
custody.
Yeah, they're already in
So
custody.
that's a possible point of conflict when that has to happen at the courthouse.
Yeah, no arrests.
No arrests.
No arrests. sequences.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just added 5,500 to that line, so now instead of 11,000, it's 16,500. For the board, so that'll be a change from,
Is this ours to mark up?
yeah, that was my copy, so it might have, but I'm done with it. So yes,
Sure.
yep, we have a new version of.
So we're saying that the court officers is now 16.
16,500, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the next line is equipment, we've just like always budgeted $1,500 and I was letting Leanne and Debbie know this last week too, that we have a little less than $1,200 in the equipment line for the court. So equipment could be a lot of things, but it's oftentimes used for like office equipment, like desks, chairs. Like, I mean, anything really. But that money could be utilized, this hopefully will be utilized this year to get things that you need. So I just wanted to flag that. I put in $1,500 again for 2026, because that just seems to be what has always been budgeted, but I wanted to hear from you if there's any requests for 2026. Like, I know the books are considered equipment, but it's also more than that.
What about the technology? One of the things that concerns me is that, it's the cameras and it's the Wi-Fi system. I mean, we're not quite sure who controls them anymore.
We've been having a lot of issues with the internet, it's been going out very frequently on us. And we have 2 different routers, we have one.
Oh, okay.
in the
Yeah, so
car.
any internet issues should be reported to me, because we can have someone come identify that. And see, should replace,
line.
yeah, they should replace that type of equipment if it's not owned by the town, that should just get, those types of things can be looked at and replaced.
Yeah, I think we
Why do you
should
have two
do that.
routers?
We have one in the constables and then we have one in the court that belongs to.
Do we have anything set up on OCA or whoever does security? for the-
So,
I mean, that's good. that-
Right,
There's always
Yeah.
this,
so both
Yeah, sure.
routers have been there way before me. So
We really don't,
I'm at a loss. I don't
we
know.
really don't know who owns.
There's
what.
no OCA sticker on any of it.
oh, okay,
So if that, yeah,
but your
if it has
other,
an OCA sticker, then it belongs to OCA.
okay,
what's the point of, I mean, because the routers are.
Because this
for
router
security.
here won't reach that.
Court, so we need 2.
No, no,
So-
no, but also it's a weakness in the security system, so.
There
Your
should be.
systems are hardwired? You're on
Yes.
Wi-Fi?
We are.
No.
We're
Our
hardwired.
computers are hardwired.
And what uses the Wi-Fi?
The cameras go
On the
off,
phones.
yes.
The attorneys,
Those are Wi-Fi?
Yes.
Uh,
when the attorneys come in, they're using. the
Oh,
phones.
yeah,
The internet.
The
The-
attorneys.
So they're
The-
using voice over, I mean,
The-
using Wi-Fi, phone.
Wi-Fi.
So they're logging into your Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi.
Is there no sub coverage thing?
It's horrible, then. It's very, like, we have like.
I only have,
Just
on
right
my
below
personal
account.
phone, I only have one bar.
Yeah,
our phone system is done through, you guys audit the voucher, that's about $1,200 a month, it's the Green Square
But they're
access.
talking about,
Yeah, so let me just
Yeah,
finish.
okay.
Our internet service is provided through that contract, so we don't have a separate Spectrum bill. So Spectrum provides our service. And it's all done through there, but it's done through that company, Ring Square. So that, in terms of like, who owns I'd have to have them dispatch a tech. And they'll be able to tell us,
So it might be Spectrums.
Yes.
we had a problem 2 years ago. We called Mike and Mike said it was Spectrum. Spectrum came
Oh
out
my God, what's
and
that?
said it wasn't theirs, and then Verizon came out and said it wasn't theirs.
We had a wire that fell off
The
the,
building.
yeah. It was just.
But I think what we need is updated routers.
Okay.
because They've been there since Leanne's been here and she's been here almost 10 years, so I'm sure the
Yeah.
equipment just needs to be swapped
Yeah,
out for.
And
Yeah.
newer
the
tech.
camera system really needs
Yes.
to be intertwined into
So-
one, but we
Yeah.
discussed.
so I'm also working with Fish, which is our IT company, on that part of it. So I've been putting together things that they're drawing up a quote for, because I don't really know the history of it, but we do pay a monthly fee to our IT consultant, and for some reason,
We never
they were
used it
never
No.
like
I
put
don't
on
know.
any of the court stuff. I know that OCA, I know that
Okay.
there's a
There's
delineation.
a lot, yeah,
Yes.
there's, yeah.
But they work with municipalities. They said that they have, like, they're familiar with this type of situation. They have the certificates they need for, like, the law enforcement, security side of it.
Uh-huh.
Now, and they're also aware that they would not be overseeing the OCA stuff. So I would like to get a new camera system, just a totally new system in.
I,
That would be nice.
So I'm working on that. It will not come out of the court equipment line. That'll come out of our other,
That is something that the $30,000 grant could be applied to.
it can.
That would be better than that, and I think it would be much easier to get past. JCAP. Because I think it was initially a JCAP grant that set up the security system.
A lot
Yeah.
of courts use it
I
for
did
that.
find that.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'd much rather have new cameras than new phones, so.
I do have it, but I do have budget for that project. So
Okay.
which, however we do it, but it is in the budget.
I mean, routers are not super expensive, right? What would you?
Well, a lot of companies provide them. If we have a contract with them, they should provide more.
Yeah,
Yeah. but
it's
you-
the,
some
yeah,
people
it's-
want
need
the
an
routers
So it's not an
that
either
have-
or kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there are different kinds of routers with different kinds of, you would probably know this better than I, so why don't. You can just step in for me,
You got it right.
Routers are cheap.
Yeah.
Routers are-
but security is, you have different layers of security depending on the router. that you use, and some are much better protected than, others. And I think we would want to pay attention to the level of security of the router.
They're also cheap.
I think the biggest cost will be buying new cameras, which will
Yeah.
probably be around $4,000 to get the number of cameras.
I mean, the ones that are outside, they're kind of
New.
new.
Oh, okay.
The ones that are on the constable side, on those
Well,
that I can't see, we
I-
can't see.
I think we
they're
should
newer.
separate the
Yes.
constables from the court.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just concerned with, I mean, we would want cameras around the whole building, is get into the
Which
building,
there are.
get into our, right, and then the ones that are.
They just need to be upgraded.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what we can do is just have someone
Yes.
look at everything that's there, assess what we could reuse, but we might need to. There might need to be some changes in terms of like how the information is coming into the system and who's who's able to monitor
that's
it
it.
remotely.
I mean, we don't. know who
We're
does,
aware of the issues.
like to know, we'd like to see a policy.
Keep aware of the issues.
But in terms of the budget discussion, that equipment is not gonna come out of. That equipment won't come out of the court.
So we could
budget.
get, you mentioned the other day, we can get desks and chairs.
You have about $1,200. Left
This
this year, and
Yeah.
then next year I have $1,500, so in terms of like. I don't know how frequently you need to buy the books, or,
Here.
I think what we're saying is, I know what we're saying is spend your money this year, so.
Spend this $1,200 now.
I would like a new desk.
Well, you guys discuss that
Yeah.
yourselves, you have $1,200, we'd like you to spend it this year. We're gonna budget $1,500 for you next year, if you don't need to spend it because we bought stuff this year, all the better.
Yeah.
Our main issue here is we have more than a decade of deferred maintenance in every single building that's got. We have a diminishing fund balance that the town has, that the overall budget has relied on to spend every year. And there's a limit to what we can spend. And we have a increase in payroll expenses across the board in every department in town. Everything else is more expensive, so we're heading into budget constraint times. And we're trying to allocate what we have next year by minimizing the impact on property owners and taxpayers. While also trying to meet some of these deferred maintenance issues, but. Spend what you can this year, so that, because it's already budgeted for.
Yeah.
And if you can avoid spending it next year, great, but if you have to spend it next year, please stick to your budget. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
But the budget picture is
Mhm.
not good.
and I will send you. I am working with a company that's on New York State contract. And their prices are very good. So before I place the order, I can send that to you and see if there's anything that you like that could fit within this,
Yeah.
what's left, and then we could look. It's, the shipping is free, so it's, if we were to place an order next year, it would be fine, but we could maybe get some stuff on the shipment that's coming this year.
My next question is, where would the new locks come in? Is that a
Buildings, equipment,
It's not in your budget line.
Yeah.
It's not.
it's not in. So that's the buildings, equipment line.
So we just put
Okay.
that request in with you and the judges.
We have that.
I have that
Yeah.
request. I don't have anything to go off of. I don't have quotes. I don't know how many locks it is. If you guys have time to gather any of that information, or I can ask Harry.
Yeah, we don't.
I don't have, it's possible that we could do it out of this year's budget, but we do have equipment budgeted every year for all buildings, so it would come out of that.
And I would again like to see a policy.
I'm working
Yes.
on a key policy.
Yeah, I mean, we've just lost control.
Yeah.
of keys. We don't even have control.
Looks like everything else in your budget's standard. It's,
We did note the conference.
Oh, yes.
That we spoke to you about, we did get the numbers.
Okay.
Down the way here. It is.
For the two of us, it's 2,092, so it's budgeted at 2,100, so.
Just need to go over this.
But next year, the judges are invited with the court clerk, so I don't know what the judges are doing.
Okay. And you know, Judge Alba wouldn't wanna, I mean,
I can't speak. for Judge
Oh, okay.
Alba, but I know she has a very busy.
yeah,
Busy schedule.
She
And,
didn't state if she was coming or not.
I mean, I do my stuff online just because.
so you're saying it's $2,092?
Yes, so it's 946 plus
$2,100.
$100.
So 2,100 covers.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
And that covers transportation.
no.
Mileage is a different
Mileage is separate.
line.
Yeah, and that
But
one,
That
this-
usually covers us.
and you guys already submitted that, it just isn't reflected here because it came in after I prepped all these sheets.
And hotels covered.
That's
Yeah,
part.
that's part of the,
Yeah.
that's part of the conference fee. And then postage. I think just keeping it at 1,000 is a good idea. Okay,
I'm not sure how much the post, I know they go up every year, I don't know.
but you're significantly under budget, so 1,000 should cover it.
yeah,
Okay.
it
And
went
again,
up,
that's one of those things that we can,
yeah, we have to
Yeah.
pay postage.
The post office box.
budget.
that's right.
That's right, I haven't gotten
year.
anything that's saying
We
it's
did
gonna
just
be
get
more
a
than that.
receipt that was
Yeah.
paid.
It was 84.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
paid for
that's
the
right.
year, so.
yep. And then, yeah, with the special prosecutor. That one, I'm just going based off of. Years past, it doesn't look like we've gone, except,
Has it gone up?
We budgeted for an increase.
in.
I mean, the only thing that would change that is trials, and we just don't have trials because sheriffs don't show up.
Okay,
We
Oh.
almost had a trial, and then the trooper, and Bill negotiated with him again, so it worked out.
Now, I've been here 6 years and I have yet to have a BTO. I'm scheduled for it.
There's trouble.
That's as far as what
So it looks like everything's covered in the budget and
I look to you because.
Yes, I wrote notes down, so
how much do the books cost when you buy them?
1,000.
1,000.
It's a lot.
It's about it, right?
Well, I mean,
All books
think
are-
about it, we need,
Is there an online subscription?
We get the new VTL, the new.
no, we need hard. It's very hard to look on the computer, much easier to look at.
So we get the new VTL every year, the new criminal, the new hunting and
Right, so,
trapping, so that's 3 books that comes from the same company, I think that's.
right, and then,
So,
Judge Alba had a
The-
number of books that she's used to working with. And because the law changes, if not only your statutes change, but the case law changes, the way you interpret statutes, things are updated every year. Sometimes a couple of times a year, so. The books just get old and have to be replaced. I mean, when I first started, like, they were practicing law in a different century. Which is,
The main books we do get are those three,
and there,
no,
and
there's,
then there's one more.
There's-
third one.
there's a bunch on the desk.
Yeah.
And that has to be.
we just got an updated one, that one.
So we're asking how much?
Yeah, how much?
So the 3 books that she's talking about, they're about $100 for the 3 of them.
Okay.
They're the ones that have all the fines, the McGills.
Yeah, but
And it-
I'm,
we're just looking for a number.
why don't we take that back and give you a number? Because
We need it like today. Because we have to submit our budget.
The reason why I'm asking is if you both need new desks and new chairs? Or, I'm just thinking about, oh, how much do the books cost? If we're gonna have to buy them next year, do we need to bump that up a little
I don't
bit
think so.
to?
what?
So
You cannot decide what judicial.
Well, no, I'm saying we don't need chairs.
Oh, that you can
the
decide.
criminal procedure law book
Yeah,
is $49.
so let's say, so we
Okay.
need the criminal law, we need, civil law.
So $500 will cover the books?
The vehicle and traffic book is $66. The New York penal law. This is from 2025.
Yeah.
Is 65. Vehicle traffic book is 66. Criminal procedure law.
Yeah.
Is 49.
Yeah, but I have to see what we have on that desk.
We can get
Right.
it for the final budget. We don't.
It
need to-
doesn't sound like it's $1,000.
No,
Okay,
Oh.
that's all.
It's not gonna change.
That was
much
what I was
preliminary.
worried about.
no.
We wouldn't be able to get another desk. That's what I was worried about.
I
It sounds
feel
like we're probably
I feel
fine.
like we've spent close to that in books some years.
I personally right now am okay
It
with my
could-
desk, but it's gonna look ridiculous if we're not matching.
Yeah,
So,
I want you guys to have good
yeah,
equipment and desks. But we'll leave it as is. And I will send you the
Yes.
link to the website so you can see what the style of those desks is. And we do get a very good price on them because of the state contract. Huh?
So made by business.
No, actually.
Workers?
No. Okay, so then basically, right now, I have $25,000 available in the building line that I am reserving for the court this year.
In
Unless,
addition to the 35.
no, that's what's left in that. So that's what I've been holding on to cover these building repair issues. I have not gotten anyone who will come out and give me a quote. I have talked to I've called probably 10 contractors. But that is my plan for that. Even if we have to encumber that into next year, I'm holding that. And then if it's gonna cost more than that, then we will cross that bridge when we get to it.
So the 35 that we had budgeted for this year that we haven't been spent can carry over
Yeah,
if we,
if I encumber it, which means if we were able to find someone and say, we placed this order, then we move it forward.
Just need to obligate funds.
Yeah, we just have to obligate it, yeah.
Is there any process that we can look at to like widen the pools of contractors, like talking to them
Emergency
about their approved lists and kind of tell them the issue that we're having with contractors?
The,
Even if it's like we have to pre-approve contractor list with them.
or can we designate
we-
it as an emergency repair?
Some-
Because
Yeah,
there's some of them that are very desperate.
I mean, I can,
The other thing, I'm sorry to interrupt, the other thing we suggested was hiring somebody maybe
yeah,
part-time.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they're on staff rather than.
right. Yeah, but I think theoretically, it would be faster to hire a contractor rather than going through the position doesn't exist. And then we have to find the person so I do think it's an option, but I think at this point we need to, if we want to change that around, that needs to be part of like our final budget process so that we can set the preliminary today. And then we should, like I said, in terms of the,
I'm sorry, I just trying to get my question answered. So there is no grievance process with the people that oversee those contracting lists?
the New York State, you mean?
Yeah, and is there anybody to call and kind of beg and say, we're having crisis there?
So here's where I'm at.
Yeah,
It's not us that is responsible, it's the contractor. So if they're not on the list, they're the ones that get in trouble. So I have been reaching out to people who are not on the list, letting them know what the situation is. And I got one person to come take a look who said he was gonna give me a quote, and I have not heard back anything. I've followed up with him like 4 times.
Is there a way to designate a repair an emergency? So that whoever does the work is exempt from that?
The only thing that would do would be to allow us to not go through our procurement policy. It doesn't change the fact that it's a
Yeah,
public
yeah,
works
that's-
project.
and I just have one more quick question about this. Like, what's the process in getting a contractor approved for that? Is it arduous for them? It's really easy.
It's really
So-
easy, but it's easier if they're like a sole. Cause otherwise it's prevailing wage, which is why no one wants to do it.
All right, so I'm sorry, say
And-
that last part again.
If you have staff, it's
Mhm.
prevailing wage and you have to certify payroll and you have to do there's certain rules about that. So if it's someone who's just like 2 business partners and they're doing it and they're not on payroll, it getting registered probably has no impact.
So we're looking for a small team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or someone who's already on the list, but I've called basically everyone in our like area out in Ulster County who's on the list.
They don't wanna go.
I haven't gotten anyone. Okay. Anything else you need from us? I think that's it. We'll follow up on those, the items that we were talking about, with cameras, routers, and then any other, how we want to handle the. Yeah.
Actually, can you just rip off the pages, so we might need that for the next department that comes.
Oh. It's actually highway, so we were just
Okay.
gonna, it's a different one.
Okay.
Yep. You can keep that, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
10:30.
Look at that, right on time.
Morning. Morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
We want.
Have a seat.
We have to?
Yes.
I feel like I've seen you guys so much in the last.
I really take clothes on the end there.
But.
Not enough.
Okay.
Morning, all.
Morning.
Good chair.
Here we go.
All right, so. This, I'll just put these in front of you guys. This is the,
Budget one we did?
no,
Oh.
this is the. Capital improvements that we are gonna be funding with a lot. It totals $3,421,000.
That's it.
so this includes, I just put in the Western Star because I figured it would be better to budget for the higher amount. And if you guys decide you want to go with the smaller one, then.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, how you doing?
See.
And then the Whitfield repair, I thought we could also, that's something that we could, that is qualifies for a ban.
Okay.
So then I'll go through this with the board, but I want you guys to know what to be. And then this is the
Well, I think it's never.
ban schedule that I just need out. I just wanted you guys to have that in front of you. Jeff, I'm gonna go over these things, but this is the ban,
Ban.
this is the ban backup.
Okay. We have, or we don't.
Ban
Oh.
backup.
I think they'll be.
This is the same as what you sent?
Yes.
I haven't had these guys.
Here is the ban backup that I'm gonna review right now. Okay.
Are these proposed?
Huh?
Are these proposed or is it? We don't have any debt, so these are. proposed.
This is my proposal. This was how I was trying to figure out how to budget for the ban and the bridge projects. So, basically, we can start there because that was not in the tentative budget, and this was the biggest change that I made to the highway budget. So this took our highway budget from the tentative to about 3 million to over 7 million. So we have 3 Bridge New York grants to cover 3 bridge replacements. One of them is going to be completed in 2026, which is going to be meaning that all construction and construction inspection costs will be incurred in 2026. That is the bulk of the cost of that project. While it is funded 95%, it's reimbursement. So we have to pay the construction costs and then we get reimbursed. But
Let's turn around for the reimbursement.
it's 2 months and we do monthly, we can do monthly submittals, which we are going to have to do with what I'm proposing. So then that one is, I basically put in the updated projections from the last time our engineering firm sent them to me. That project is slated to go over budget by $850,000. So last time I met with Ulster County, they have funds available to assist municipalities in the off-system bridge replacement costs. So they had committed to funding that overage, but they do an 80-20. So we would be responsible for 20% of that overage and they'll pay for 80. So that's indicated in that the bigger spreadsheet where there's one that says that there's 80% reimbursement available. And so that means that we will be, in addition to the 5% that we're gonna owe on that, we will also be incurring that 20% of the $850,000 overage. So that is another expense that we will be responsible for.
We have that in writing from them that they're reimbursing us for that.
I'm pretty sure it's in the tip, but the transportation improvement plan, but I can double check, but
And are those funds committed by the county or is it, we have to apply and there's a chance someone might get that?
they were very confident that they were covering it. And the HVEA put that in their most updated,
HVA is.
our engineering firm that it's the consultant for the Boys Mill Bridge. So they have committed that into our budget request. So I'll follow up with the county and just get something in writing. As I was putting this together, I was like,
Yeah.
I want this to be part of my backup, but it was very like committed and they have fund balance that they have a fund balance that they're committing. It's not taxpayer money that they're committing. So I'm still updating that spreadsheet. So then I also put we have two other projects that are slated to begin. Now, the design process for the Bridge New York projects takes like a year. So I am budgeting that the only expenses that will incur for those two projects in 2026 will be the full cost of the engineering to create the design report. So we tentatively assign Tectonic Engineering for Sundown. And I got their quotes back for their projected budget for the project. And so the culvert design that is $370,000 for that. In their schedule, they will deliver that to us in November of 2026, which means that full cost will be incurred. The Sundown culvert is 100% funded. So we will be getting 100% of our expenses back that are within the $995,000 budget. We do need to look at that though, because they've basically kept it in budget, but it doesn't include a couple things. So I want to talk to the board about whether or not we want to move forward with this as a Bridge New York project. So, but we should plan for it nonetheless. So that means we'll basically be needing to float that $370,000 next year, though we can submit for monthly reimbursement. And then project 32 bridge design, we still need to select the consultant for that, but that amount that I have in there is what was put in the grant application for how much the design cost would be. That one is the town will incur 5% of those costs. So we also said that we wanted to fund, if we buy a truck, we want to do that through
Capital borrowing.
yeah, through borrowing. And then the Whitfield repair would also qualify for something that we are allowed to borrow. We can't borrow for salaries, like there's things that we can't borrow for. Everything has to be put into that application. So I put that in there. Now, for the Western Star truck, we might have some different options for how we finance that, but I wanted to put it all together so that in terms of the budget, I have to put all of this in multiple places. I just want to make sure I captured it all.
Different options. Like standard financing as opposed to utilize the van.
Yeah. And the
It's
way,
like a bit cheaper though.
it could be. Because you can get there's like zero interest,
Really?
yeah. And if you do it like that, then it goes into the operating budget. If we were gonna do a bond, then that would go into our capital.
Yeah.
So right now I have it just all in the operating budget. So then the date of purchase is important because basically the way highway works is all the money is basically tax levy. So most of the highway funds come in on February 1st. It's in the bank account. And then the only other revenue source is CHIPS. And what happens is that we have a bunch of money sitting in the bank account until June. And then once it's June, everything is getting spent.
Yeah.
So, I do think that we should have an investment policy as soon as possible so that we can put that money in a higher interest account and then move it out. Because if we could earn money, that it's just gonna help us.
3% instead of 25 basis points.
Exactly. And also like, if you look at how much I'm projecting that the ban, it's like, we're not saving any money by taking out the ban. It's just helping us a little bit because it's going to cost us the full interest amount for the first year of the ban for this huge amount of money. So if we can offset some of that, in reality, that would be helpful.
So can all these be consolidated into a single ban that can all be funded at once?
That's what
Right.
this is what I am recommending. because everything's gonna come in June, basically. The Boyce Mill Bridge construction starts May. Now, the design projects are gonna be starting in November, and we'll just be getting monthly invoices for those. But everything is gonna get started to be built to us in June. Now, as long as we have the funds in the bank, we can pay invoices and get reimbursed. But because it's $3.4 million, like, we're never gonna have that money, that amount available at once. So I'm recommending that we take a ban out for half. And then we renew the ban for the non-bridge projects. So that is in the amount to renew for 2027. And that total is $610,605. So for a ban, you can renew it up to 5 years.
So I'm talking, considering the issuance costs.
Yes.
Legal and all the other
Yeah,
ancillary fees. And would it be possible to have one, like, multiple drawing, one band that allows multiple drawings over a period of time rather than having to stack all these issuance costs every time we do them?
so what you basically, I haven't met with our, we don't even have a bond counsel. I haven't met, I do have a rep at our bank that focuses on
Which
this,
is it?
Webster. And he and I had a conversation last year. My understanding is the issuance cost is wrapped up into the interest rate, but you pay it upfront. So that's why the issuance of this for this year is $105,000, because we're talking about $1.8 million that we're gonna need to come out in, say, like June or July, so that funding is there. Now, if we get a better interest rate, that's gonna go down. I just wanted to budget for what I thought was on the high end, but what I'm seeing is it's probably gonna be more like 4%. I budgeted 6. I do have bond counsel budgeted in our budget. So that's already in there.
And is a band cheaper to fund than a bond?
So if we are doing a bond, that's 10 years.
Okay.
So,
So you're paying a 10-year rate.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's why I was told
Okay. No, I agree.
we should do a ban, renew, and then if you get to that 5th year, then you can roll it into a bond.
We don't have to pay principal in the first year of the ban though, right?
No,
Can we pay?
but we are gonna have the money because it's Bridge New York, it's coming back to us. And if we don't, then we're gonna pay the interest on that when we renew. So that's why I think if we're gonna renew, it should be $610,000, because then our interest payment for that is gonna go down to $36,000.
Can you, I mean, what if we considered a lower payment against the principal, like only paying back $1 million? Amortizing 610, like 875.
Well, then that would,
But you're paying 4% on that cash that you're earning.
if we wanted to offset the tax levy.
Yeah.
We could do that. We
That's-
could
that's fine.
shave $200,000 off her, and then we would have that money available.
It's float.
Yeah,
But for $200,000.
Well, we could do more, I mean, we could.
It's something we can consider.
You only
At
get
the
800
time.
down off the principal. I don't, do we need to do that large of a principal payment in the first year of the ban?
I was just
Could-
doing that because that's like what we would be getting back. But then we would have a higher interest payment in 2027. So I made the band schedule assumed, I can plug any number into that if you want to see.
Did you use 6 for this?
Yeah.
That's like conservative.
That's really conservative.
Conservative?
To use
The rate.
6%.
So around 6% interest, you're saying?
It's gonna be a lot lower than that.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, sorry, that would be liberal or conservative financially.
Yes.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes.
Can I ask a question? The amount to renew for 2027, that 610, that's everything except the Boyce Mill Bridge, because Boyce Mill Bridge will be done, right?
That's everything, that is the difference, that's the 5% that the town would owe on those projects. And it is the Western Star truck and the Whitfield repair, so I'm recommending that we carry over the construction costs that we will owe that 20% of, and then there's like the 5% of the construction costs that are covered by Bridge New York. So there's in the amount to renew, that's what's reflected there. The 74,000 is the 5% that the town is gonna pay for construction, and the 9,700 is the 5% that the town's gonna pay for the inspection. And the 171,200 is the 20% that we will be paying for what's over budget of that. And then the 8,076 will be the 5% that the town is gonna owe for the Project 32 design. So all of these numbers are in this updated preliminary budget that I was gonna circulate after we talked to the highway department, because it, this, and I sent them in a spreadsheet too. Because this is the budget version, this is the detail version, which is that's the detail. But you'll see that, so we have to budget for the full expense, then we budget for the full revenue, and then we budget for the principal and the interest, so. The money is coming in from the county right now. I have in 2770 unclassified revenues, but otherwise it should all. The only other change to the highway budget since we spoke is I found that error. Well, I said this in the meeting, but I found the error where it had left a 0 off of the parts. And then Jessica got us the quote for the salt, which is about $7,000 less than what we budgeted, so I reduced that line. So that basically with the proposal that I have, it took the tax levy down from a little over 2 million to the 1.8 million that I have.
That quote for salt is locked in? Is
It
that-
is. I talked to the salt company and she confirmed that it is good for 2026. Price won't change.
Even if it's in like November, December?
Yep.
So if we did what Councilman Coleman was suggesting, which I think we should maybe talk about when we're done with highway, that could reduce that more, and we would just be spreading a tax levy increase out over a 5-year period, more aggressively than I proposed. So then I think I just wanted to see, I also bumped up, we haven't gotten any quotes yet from engineers, anything.
Nothing yet.
I bumped that up to 35,000. Just because it sounded like it wasn't gonna be enough, and I didn't budget anything for Stony Kill, or,
Yeah, I couldn't draw anybody to look at that before today, obviously.
that might be another reason to do what you're suggesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we have the money, keep it in hand.
But we're also gonna decide that now, right?
We can decide before the final budget. For
Especially
sure.
after we figure out any other change.
But
I can also make
I
sure
would
we're allowed to. do
mind
that.
to hoard liquidity.
Yeah, right. But I think we're still pretty high in terms of.
And then for the does the board have any questions about any of the truck schedule or anything that we had talked about at our last meeting?
Did we get a capital equipment list?
Yeah. I forwarded that from Jessica. And I think we just need to, there's a lot that you're already tracking, but if we were to start building off of, if you guys could start build off of that a little bit more to kind of indicate maintenance schedule, like
Yeah.
tire replacements, life left in of the truck, sort of like ideal replacement, and then which trucks are the backup trucks, kind of the stuff we were talking about generally, but if that were to be documented, then I think that would be helpful. And then I was planning on leaving the CHIPS number as is. And if it turns out there's more available, then we can either apply that overage to something that's already existing in the budget, which will probably help out a lot next year, given how much debt we're taking on. Or if there were more road work that needed to be done, then both budget codes would go up. So I think we should just cross that bridge when we get to it. Speaking of bridges. And Project 32 is actually red.
Yeah, that's a red.
But we never did that.
Yeah,
The other change is, Jeff reached out to me and asked if we could make the highway superintendent salary flat with 2025. I didn't make it flat because last year when I did the budget, I didn't divide that one by 52. And so it wasn't evenly divisible. So the number that's in there is like $12 more, just so it is divisible by 52. And then we have put in the increases for the deputy highway superintendent, and then we have a stipend budgeted for the highway secretary. Jessica is a deputy clerk, so Kate is her appointing officer and her department head, but we have assigned that role as the highway secretary, and both Kate and myself feel that the work Jessica does 20 hours a week goes far beyond what a deputy clerk's role is, because she's basically managing the entire highway budget and watching all the expenditures and processing all the payroll and time off tracking. Those are all things that happen in my office for the other fund. So
Okay.
we included a highway secretary stipend as a recognition that those duties are more than what other deputy clerks would ever have to do in their day-to-day work. And that is in the general fund budget. So that's in the blue budget. So highway secretary, deputy superintendent, and highway superintendent are all in our budget. So I made those changes. Thank you.
Well deserved.
Much appreciated.
Anything else?
I'd just like to say that you've done a great job on this. But really, it's something that you should be doing, Jeff, because it's your department, your budget. You have to allocate how money is spent. You have to project what is needed, and this is the type of scenario of planning that you should do.
yeah, I agree. I always sat down with the supervisor and discussed things as they were working it out, and that's what we did this year. but we always have discussions as to what we need to bring up or what we need to raise or what we can lower, and it just makes it easier if we talk one-on-one with the supervisor, because
No, I
then,
understand,
yeah.
but the impression I get is that Aaron's done most of the lifting here.
Is there an audit process on your department? Like, I'm just trying to get a sense of why we're not having more comprehensive weight maintenance schedules just maintained right now.
You mean, as far as maintenance as to as of the truck?
Yeah.
No, we've never had any kind of audit stuff as far as that went on that. Never.
But the controller's office does periodically audit highway departments.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I don't know when the last one.
years ago. Years
It's
ago, it was
probably-
a long time ago.
So something to keep in mind.
Yeah,
As part of the financial management, one of my goals, the town doesn't have we don't have what is recommended by New York State for how we track our assets and liabilities. So in the past, as part of the annual financial report, the list that was provided by our insurance company, what was used, but that's not what you're supposed to do.
There's not a hard comparison to actually doing.
So part of what we've been asking for will be going into what I'm going to be submitting in 2025. And that will actually, I will have to submit an explanation of it because it's going to be different. Anytime there's a big difference, it has to be explained. And if there aren't changes to explain that difference, then have to be a narrative, which is that we were using the cost of replacement from our insurance company to determine what our assets are, but it should be the purchase cost and the asset. That's what we're supposed to also.
Plus
have.
depreciation.
And we don't have that. It's not part of any records that I can find. So, I talked to Jessica about that briefly, about trying to find all of that information for the list she has, because that is from our insurance company. That's, what they'll pay us to replace it, which is different from what we're supposed to provide. Yeah.
Can I just?
Yeah.
In the detailed version for highway,
Mhm.
so row 43, so that's the state reimbursement, and then you have county somewhere else.
Yes,
Okay,
it's in 2770.
the 684, okay.
And it's listed as federal aid, but it's state administered, locally administered federal aid.
Okay.
My understanding is the money exists, but it's just very scary. Doing this is very scary during a federal shutdown.
It's only $3 million.
It's only $3 million.
I need to make sure the county is actually.
Yeah. But there's really not much we can do at this point with voicemail. The others we could, I don't know. If our out-of-pocket costs for the other bridges are going to be more than what it would cost us to just manage the work, then I'll be recommending that we surrender that award that we just. Because it's a 2.5 year process to do the bridge through Bridge New York. You end up with a really nice product, but if the projected costs are gonna exceed those award amounts, it's not worth it. So much work.
I'm sorry, can you clarify the difference between detail 82 and 83? So the machinery is the truck. 370.
82 and 83.
Sorry, am I in the? Fund DA prelim?
Fund DA prelim is the non-detailed version, and you're asking for what the,
The machinery, the equipment, and then the CD.
okay, so the equipment is what I'm budgeting, what I'm proposing. Is to budget for the higher priced truck. Now, the highway department could still decide to go with the smaller truck if you guys feel like that's the better one, but I figured it's better to budget for the higher one. So that's $310,000. Then the 60,000 is the beam. And the CE is the shop. That's like the shop costs. So that 370 is being funded through band revenue. You still looking, Councilman Gordon?
Yeah, no, you can go.
Okay,
Sorry.
I think we can dismiss the highway department.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming again.
Aaron, this is our company.
Yes,
Oh, so I wrote on it.
I can send
Give
you
it
a
back.
spreadsheet too. I was gonna also put it as an addendum to the preliminary budget, so that the public can see that too.
All right.
Okay,
Did you get a chance, can you send? Is that?
yes.
For those numbers, so I can do the.
Oh, yes.
Accurate.
Oh, yeah, I did have to move that money around, man. I have no sense of what's been going on right now. Okay,
It's okay, it's a
Yeah.
Monday too.
yeah.
Thank you, Aaron.
There are drain flies in this building. Somebody needs to bring a bottle of bleach and pour it down every single.
Do you do it? Do you fill the traps? What? Do you fill the traps?
What's a drain fly?
It's a little tiny fly that multiplies like in drains, like it's not like a house fly, it's a little.
It's in the yard.
No, yeah, I mean,
I don't know
it's in
about
the-
these are.
they're in the sink traps, they're in the,
All right,
I don't get 6 feet in a shower.
well.
All right.
Seinfeld episode.
Where's streaming?
Okay, so I want to review with the board what we're setting for the preliminary budget, and then then we have. We'll schedule the public hearing, and then I will zip everything together and deliver it to Kate. So if there's any change, we did make one change. So I have to go through and update everything. So that was a change of $5,500, so it won't have a huge impact. But what I did now, this was just back of the napkin math, so I'm not sure if this is gonna be what it actually is. But I put $250,000 of revenue from fund balance in general fund. What I'm saying is that if 3 months of operating expenses is $875,000, anything above that should fund this budget. So I did not have a chance to go through my bank rec and what's in the account and what expenditures I know that we're gonna be making and which revenue items I know for a fact are gonna come in on budget. I haven't done that yet, but I will do that before the next time we talk about the budget. So as it stands with that and all the changes that we made and a couple of changes that I made that I'll review with you guys. We went from doubling the tax levy in general fund to raising it by 53.8%. So that's that first this is the first spreadsheet in the preliminary budget spreadsheet that I sent you guys.
One little typo, I think the header for age, that should be 25, right?
No, we don't know what the year-end fund balance for 2025 is gonna be. Until the end of the year.
Very remarkable and desirable achievement.
So,
Not as desirable as we want.
yeah,
But, a good start.
and then we did for highway fund, like, the ban. Like, I really love learning new things, and when I realized how I needed to budget, it felt really amazing, but then when I saw the overall impact on the budget was so little compared to how much money is moving through, I was a little bummed, but it's okay. So, even with carrying over that $680,000, we're only reducing what we had originally budgeted by like $200,000 because it costs money to take that money out. And there was that error I made with the decimal or with the zero. But it still went down by that. And so that is looking at a 21% increase. So one thing that, you know, I'm maybe getting a little convinced of what you're suggesting, Michael, is if we were to offset both, I have to think about what that's gonna do in the long term, but if we were to pay less principal back in highway, then we could potentially just really offset this 33% increase that we're looking at, which is so much above the tax cap by like $800,000, you guys.
And there is no highway fund balance, right?
There is about $100,000.
Yeah. We're gonna go through the trouble of getting the money. I think spreading the cost out, yeah.
Yeah. So, I wanted to have I haven't logged in yet. I couldn't log into the comptroller site, which is where I do the tax cap form. And then I was like, what is going on? Then they had this big thing that they were doing system maintenance. So I'm gonna try and get in there today. But you know, the tax cap, it's a complicated formula, but it's basically 2% of the previous year levy, but it's actually less than that.
Because they're excluding categories.
Yeah, so there's like all this stuff, but, so, you know, you can roughly do 2% of, last year's taxes, and it's like not that much money. So,
Tentative budget on the website.
huh?
Do we have our tentative budget on the website?
Yeah,
That's nice. It's really difficult to find tentative budgets for other towns in Ulster County.
oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
I said this one. No,
I go to their website.
So ambulance districts, we got the request in from Marbletown. I had put in 26,000, they're requesting the same as last year, so that went down $1,000. I kept the street lighting budget the same. I do need to, I'll have like a final on that, the street lighting districts, but those just affect the people that are on those roads. And then Accord Fire District's budget passed at $951,267. Kerhonkson passed at $317,469. For that one, I don't know what the cost per thousand is gonna be, because it's the Kerhonkson district. We don't have like our town broken out in their budget. So when I plugged it in, it said some wonky amount, but we usually wait until we get our tax bill, basically, and then we know. So that one isn't gonna have a rate per thousand in this cover sheet, just so you know. Because that levy is not for our town only, it's for the entire Kerhonkson district.
So the 217 is for the entire district, it's not just us.
Yeah, correct. So, but we have no control over the fire budgets, but we put them in because it's part of our tax bill. That the clerk collects. So
Are there any other districts or is that it?
that's it. So then I did take a look and, was trying to suss out capital fund. Because that is where if you guys recall, I was saying there's more money in that fund than the projects. And I was curious if the board had allocated the JCAP project expenditures and stuck it in that fund. That did not happen. So what's in there was just, it was just ARPA funding assigned to the projects. So I have to make sure that, because I have to report on ARPA expenditures, so I have to make sure we're using the ARPA money for what we said we were going to use it for, but that money has been taken out of fund balance, has been taken out of general fund, it's been taken out of the ARPA expenditures.
What does ARPA stand for?
Oh, that's the American Rescue Plan. That's the COVID money. Now, I also have to take a look because we had 105, the town board years and years and years ago did a special reserve fund for broadband, and there was $105,000 in there. I believe that is, well, hold on. So that is I'm still learning accounting, so it's definitely a liability. It's like in the fund, but in terms of the checking account, there's $54,000. Now, I believe what the board did, and I have to go back. I believe we, oh, okay. So now they're saying go for the smaller truck. Okay. We can do it. That's a good question. So I believe the board spent the $105,000 on broadband, and then we spent the extra 4,000, blah, 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 blah. That was the overage, because we paid 109,000. That was the ARPA money.
Mhm.
So if that is the case, then that funding is ARPA funding that's in the capital fund. And the project that I talked about at the transfer station is what I would like to use that for. So right now, I don't feel prepared to include all of that as a breakdown in the budget, but it will be part of the final budget. We have to show what's in the capital fund and if we're planning on using that. But it will not have an impact at all on the levy. If we decided not to do anything and we wanted to transfer that money out and apply it towards something else, but it would have to be a qualifying expenditure, then we could do that. But I just wanted to let you guys know that I had my QuickBooks doesn't go back before 2021. So all of the stuff that happened before that is in some other program. And I wasn't able to work that out over the weekend. So then the other changes, a lucky change is that all of I got to find a lot of typos that I made. One was that the projected revenue for rec hadn't been added. So we got $72,000 of revenue that wasn't in there.
That was in the version you sent last night, though, right?
It was, yeah. I'm just letting you guys know the changes that I made that you weren't a part of in a public meeting. So there was that. Then I hadn't budgeted for fines and penalties. I didn't do it last year. We do get fines and penalties revenue every year. It is not predictable. However, we are on track to do a little over $20,000. And last year it was 17, but the year before that it was much more than that. So I just put in $20,000 of revenue for forfeited bail and fines and penalties. So that's what we get from the court. That's our share of the court fines. So that revenue was added. So about $92,000 there. I'm just scanning to make sure I didn't forget anything. Oh, those were the revenue changes. Then we just made the change to the court budget, which I'll have to factor in. That'll just increase the levy by $5,500. Then I went through and I looked at our public safety and I had done an increase in a pretty big increase in hours for constables. I went ahead and just more closely matched what we spent this year with with a cushion. There's a cushion in there, but just I had put in quite a bit of a wage increases for that. So
The wage increase, or is that the number of hours?
an hour,
Okay.
the personnel line was increased. Let's see. Then, so that was a little, it wasn't. Then I found this line, which is public information services. Professional services, I hadn't budgeted anything in that, but that's our E-code 360. And it costs about $1,500 a year. Less than $1,500 a year. We've been budgeting this, it's been a carryover in the budget for years because we had contracted for recodification, which is when they take all those PDFs and put them so that it's in the text of E-code. It is. I'm not gonna get on my soapbox right now, but if you guys want to hear me complain about something, I'm happy to complain about this. But Mary Lou and I are trying to do that so that we can get the new code on, but they won't put the new code on until I finish this recodification project. They said it'll cost us less if we just finish because we have a contract for it already. So I'm going to either have it encumber that difference that we have in this year's budget. And the difference is I budgeted for this $3,000. So that'll be our annual fee. And then the difference between what we had budgeted this year to finish that project and what it's going to cost us. So I put 3,000 in there that I did not review with the board. I just like to do this officially as part of the meeting so that when we adopt the preliminary, we're not missing anything. Then oh, the other big thing is I did the highway superintendent wage adjustment, and then he had asked that if it was possible to take the difference and pass it along to the deputy superintendent and the secretary. Since I had already budgeted for an increase, I did the increases that we had discussed in the meeting and gave another bump to the highway secretary. So I think instead of $60 a week, it'll be like $61 a week. Not a big deal. But that budget line remained flat with that. And then the other big thing that I found is we had budgeted for a ban to cover the costs of the reval for this year. And we haven't taken it out. I'm not 100% certain that we have to take it out. We might, it'll happen in December if we do, but that means that, now I have the ban, issuance fee for that budgeted in the 2025 budget, but I didn't put anything in the 2026 budget.
Encumbered.
We could, but if we take it out now, I won't be making any principal payments, so I was gonna leave that. And then I budgeted for a principal payment and an interest payment on that for 2026. So that added, because it would be 62,500 principal payment if we're splitting it up. And then that little bit more for the, then like 15,000 for interest on that. So, but that would be happening in December. Like if we took it out in December, then that payment would be happening in December. Okay, so that increased the tentative budget. All of those changes increased the tentative budget into the preliminary budget by $4,000. A net 4,000 increase. But then the revenue increased by like $350,000. So that's why we saw
Decrease.
the decrease. And then as a reminder, so that's, we're looking at, and again, I have to change it by the $550,000, but we're $5,500. But we're looking at the like 1.33 million tax levy for general. When we add that 5,500. With the taxable, that'll be $1.25 per thousand for general, $1.77 per thousand for highway, for a total of $303 per thousand. Last year it was $227. Still, I think it's a good deal.
Compared to the area, right?
Well, compared to what you're getting for
Yeah.
those services.
I mean, our employee benefits are almost $1,000.
Yeah, what can you do?
There's
That's
significant
livable.
increases.
I don't know how the other towns are doing under their tax. I think they
I
have,
don't think they are.
some of them are. I don't know that anyone's doing this type of increase. But I think also we, for years, had the lowest taxes in Ulster County.
Yeah, they did it, spread that over the last.
And we still, even after last year where I raised taxes, we raised taxes 11%, we were still second lowest. So when you look at the levy amount for, I mean, this with the bridge stuff, this is a $10.7 million budget. Whereas the levy is not increasing by $3 million, but our budget is increasing by $3 million. Okay.
A distinction, hopefully people will say.
Well, I mean, we still have time. Okay, so for the preliminary budget, just as a reminder, how do you guys feel? Did you come in with any changes that you wanted to make today?
I was not feeling generous about the expensive truck, but seems like that's not going to be an issue.
Yeah, I could make that change now if you guys want. So, but then
$1,000 difference.
it's $100,000, but we're gonna be, so the only change that is gonna make,
So it's finance.
it's finance, so it's
So it's-
really gonna have a negligible change overall. But I can enter all of that in if you guys want to approve it with that change and with the 5,500. I'll just have to update the band spreadsheet. And then all of those, like the revenue, there's like 3 revenue lines and 3 expenditure lines that'll get updated.
That's fine with me if you're comfortable with that.
Yep. Okay, so. Michael, can you let me know the code for this? Oh, actually, we're doing it in we gotta do it in the simplified versions. I think it's okay. If we just put the changes. No. Okay. Michael, did you have any changes that you saw or anything that you wanted?
Yeah. First I want to confirm. Where are you? So we're keeping the assessor aide position and we're looking to combine that with the clerk position. Is the idea, because I understand what the department's saying in terms of keeping up after reval, but do we really need to hire that person this year? I don't know. I mean, the assessor's office is one of the more expensive, even if you take out the GAR payment, the 50,000 GAR payment, it's an expensive office to run. We include that additional resource. And I just, I don't know if the data is really going to age out that quickly, or if that's a hire we can plan to do in 27.
I would say the first year of the reval, really what it's gonna be is grievance day. Lots of residents coming in needing. So on top of the other work, there's gonna be that. So
Does GAR help us with anything?
with what?
Do they attend grievance day, or do they?
I don't think so.
They just provide the brief to the community about what.
Yeah, so I think it'll be more about like the impacts, then people are gonna get their school bills in September. Like, I just think it's gonna be more awareness. So I think it's more that than. And then also wanting to keep up with the data that's changed since.
So the last reval, when they did it, it was just Sharon and her part-time assistant. Not Cheryl, Sharon. So there were just 2 in the office, 1.5 in the office, full-time equivalents. And there were about 100 grievance cases. And I think that most of the grievance cases in my experience, are not based on facts. Their
Yeah.
taxes are too high, so there's not a lot of actual background work, because the way the Board of Assessment Review works is they look at basically formulas. And so while there might be a substantial increase in the number of cases, I don't think there's a huge increase in the amount of actual work. Putting numbers through
Yeah,
a template.
well, so are you proposing a change?
But the counter to that is, once you set that new baseline, it's the periodic updating, is if you're doing, 25% of the town every year. So I don't know how much, I can't assess how much work that would involve. I can't imagine that it's a lot. I mean, I don't think it's overwhelming, because if they're now keeping track more closely with the work, the permitting and the construction from the building department, that's a fairly easy thing to keep track of,
Yeah, what I heard,
because I don't think they're doing a physical audit of all the properties, like.
right, and I heard there was some concern about people not getting permits and needing to keep up. who's building without permits, but I don't know how realistic it is.
I mean, the only way they're gonna do that is do the satellite
Right.
comparisons on everything.
Well, two thoughts I have. Well, first, I still want to know if you're wanting to change a budget code. Second, the other thing I was thinking, it's not huge, but we could think about, of course, with consent, there's a full-time position in the office now that is at 35 hours per week. We could see if with a combination of increasing that to 40 and perhaps a part-time seasonal. If that would help with, the flow and see how far that gets. So that's one idea,
Mhm.
is to bump that. Because the assessor position it's salaried, but it's thought of as a 40-hour per week position, so we have been sort of updating that in a lot of the departments that had the 35-hour work week. We have been changing a lot of those to 40.
How difficult is that role to hire for?
Which one?
The 8.
Yeah,
The aide is a competitive position. So there is a list because that recently, because our current aide passed and was appointed
Right.
permanently. So the other option we have is if we decided that we wanted to have a clerk that was shared, it would be not the assessor aide, it would be a clerk that was doing clerical work. There's also a position called assessor field worker that's not competitive, and that one is it's more of a data collection role.
Going out to site.
Yeah. They have talked a little, right now, what the vision is that our current aide will pass the tests and qualify for a deputy assessor position, which we don't have on our list yet. But there is a little bit of like, well, but maybe that would be a part-time position and the aide position would stay full-time.
Yeah.
But I feel with it, how it's currently in there, I feel like we have the wiggle room to move through that. But I also feel like no matter what, we're not talking about huge sums of money, so we'll be able to.
yeah, I mean, you're the most hands-on with the day-to-day of that, so I'm just gonna defer to a judgment on what to do with that position.
I think the most I would really wanna, well, first of all, the one thing that I was thinking is that I think that was budgeted for 20 hours a week, and if we're,
Or in June.
Huh?
Oh, no, we were gonna hire the extra clerk and then in March there, so it's still a year.
yeah, but this would drop down by $6,000 because the clerk's line covers 6.
So, okay. Well, it's something. That's 1,040.
Hmm.
1,040. Hours.
1,040. It's at 20 hours per week, yeah. But if it was 17.5, it would be a little bit less. So do you want me to drop that to 20?
If that's more representative of what we think we're gonna hire in that position, I also think. I don't know. I'd like to think that. With the 2 people in the office. And the tools that we're paying for, that we could at least get. 9 months until we need to hire that position, but
It's true, it's really to improve efficiency.
I think at least lower it to 20.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys feel about. Holding off that.
I think if we're gonna cut it, what I'd like to do is do that in the final, and have a meeting with the department.
So move it to 20 for now.
Yeah. Okay,
mean, it's great if we can hire the one person that does both roles, but trying to hire two people or. Yeah, okay.
Did you have more?
We know how many passes we get for the library for Ellenville and Stone Ridge.
Ellenville, it's unlimited. Stone Ridge, I don't have that on the top of my head.
I'm really curious. The amount of we're paying for the pool. And the fact that it increased by $10,000, I want to make sure residents are actually using it. It's like a pretty major expense that we're paying. Every year,
How much is that?
30,000. It was 20 for years. I just don't know. How much we're actually using it.
Do we get stats from?
Yeah, do you know how many?
I don't, I have no idea. I can look into it. Will you guys discuss these? Record your changes, please.
Yeah.
You don't have to sell the bill.
I actually need that.
You don't use the libraries?
No, I love the libraries. I was more curious. Like what the cost for, I think we should fund libraries, absolutely. Like how much we're paying per, because we get a certain amount of spots at Stone Ridge.
Yeah,
I forgot we got.
no, I remember going through that.
Yeah,
So rigmarole when I tried to go, you know.
yeah, but I was curious, like how much it costs per resident. Per, no, like, give as much funding to libraries as. Yeah, I was more like at the pool compared to.
Yeah. No,
How
I
much do we
get
pay
it.
for libraries?
It's almost, between the two, it's almost 30,000 as well. Like 29. But we need libraries. Libraries are great.
Especially now.
Yeah, it's dangerous time. Support it.
I think we should cut the shredding to 10,005.
Yeah,
You gonna be the shred master?
I'll
But
sit
you a
there.
tricked out machine.
I mean, I think if we get a decent shredding machine or.
and combine it with the burn barrel, which costs $100.
Right, I think burning is a fine solution. But also I'm curious if we get like Iron Mountain, they get those big like 50-gallon things, you just drop it in, and if we drop like one box in, plus the standard office thing, you know. Over time, I don't know what that would cost, but.
I should always take it into the office,
Personal stuff.
throw it in the shred box.
At one point, like, we had.
One ream of stuff a week.
We had a shredder that was like, for like highly secure documents, and it basically turned into dust.
Yeah.
I put a piece of paper in there once just to see what happens. Literal dust.
Wow.
The man.
I had one where they're shredding, like, I was closing an office, so I had a bunch of stuff and I burned out 3 shredders. I mean, I'm talking about big industrial,
Yeah.
I was just like,
I only had one shredder and the Barbie's legs went through. Got up to their knees and didn't work anymore. Yeah, I walked in on the kids speeding the shredder.
Where did you guys,
I think maybe we consider cutting the shredding down from 10 to 5.
okay,
It seems like the board thinks that's. Okay,
okay.
it's $10,000 a year in shredding is,
yeah, even if we phase it out, it's been sitting in the trailer for however many years.
What?
just leave it there, it'll rot by itself.
I have a lot of burning to do. You can take it to my burn pile.
I need stuff to, I need Kipling.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
297.
2 days a week, 2 days a year, I do my. Bring my.
297?
5 years ago.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at the row. I don't know these budget codes.
I see.
1460 440. 1460.4.
Okay, 5,000.
Listen, I don't live in this sheet like you do.
I've been in this sheet a little much.
Can we go over the personnel and code enforcement? I just want to make sure I understand the positions,
Yeah,
like the 60. The municipal code aide?
Yeah. that one's at 40 hours a week and we had it in a pay scale that's just the phrase.
It's not currently staff.
It is.
Yep. Which are the new positions here? The extra code enforcement officer?
There's no new positions. Everything has been budgeted before,
Okay,
but we haven't hired the second
code enforcement officer.
officer, a building inspector. So the code enforcement officer is Mike Manick. We have an additional part-time building inspector. Oh, I reduced that one. I forgot to, I reduced that one just because I had budgeted, I think, for more hours than they said they thought was required. So I lowered that a little bit. So the zoning coordinator is a staff position, code enforcement officer is staff, and then we moved the clerk, that's going to be the highway secretary, into that budget because we're merging the departments.
But these are all.
They're all in there and they're all in we've established those pays in our pay scale.
I wanna submit the clerk and supervisor at the same salary as the highway. I think we should put that on the preliminary. I think we should do it. I think the responsibilities of the two offices, the risk of the two offices. To have the baseline be. Entry level highway. Doesn't square with me. I mean, there are significantly more responsibilities in both of those roles. Than any other position in town.
And perform to a higher standard.
And I hear the point about. Other towns, but I think other towns that have lower salaries. They're paying for it elsewhere. They're paying for an accountant, do a lot more work. We're doing a lot of legal work. We're doing. Engineering project management, like we could be paying an engineer to do all of this bridge work.
I mean, I'm not doing any engineering.
You're-
I'm just
you're-
project managing.
You're doing the project management for 3 bridge projects. And I'm not talking about individuals here, I'm talking about the expectations of the position. If in the future it becomes a part-time position. We can switch it back and we can budget for that elsewhere.
I'm really,
Okay, keeping. Cone of silence here.
I definitely agree in principle. I just question whether this is the right year to do it in view of everything else.
that the supervisor salary is a huge increase this year. It's well over 4%. And Kate and I both get stipends. So I have a budget officer stipend that's in the budget. That's it's like about 10,000. I didn't raise that one at all because I still feel like I'm getting my feet under me. And then the clerk has a tax collector stipend and a registrar of vital statistics stipend. So overall,
Story into.
yeah, but that's not part of
That's not
the, that's not her office duties. So we're both making more than.
I also agree in principle, and I think this should be like, warning signs to get more accountability out of that office. I'm pretty disappointed with the amount of record keeping that's happened and just proportionate to the amount of expenditures they're asking from the taxpayers. So I expect more accountability and record keeping out of that department. And thank you for picking up the slack.
Well, also, the highway secretary
And yes,
is
the highway
like
secretary.
doing,
Yes.
completely doing a fantastic job.
Yes,
And I think she and the deputy support the things that the board is requesting.
100%.
I still think we should submit it at that. I think the responsibilities of those two offices see those of the highway superintendent. And even if the stipends bring it to the same level, it's about slightly. Not very.
For like $6,000.
How can that be? Maybe 3,000.
For mine.
Mhm. I don't know.
I hear what you're saying, and I certainly think that it is deserved, but I think that in this particular year with the general economy and everything else the way it is, I don't like the messaging. I don't think the timing's right.
And we are already increasing those two salaries more than the 4% that we're giving staff.
And the baseline salary is still $1,000 more than an entry level highway person.
I hear you.
Day-to-day administration of
Like,
town,
I
financial
understand.
oversight,
I mean,
implementation
part
of
of
board
it,
policy,
listen, I
contracts,
understand what you're saying, but
state
like,
law.
one of the things I've learned in this job is that I have to hold 100 things that I don't love all together and like continue to move forward. And like, it's really up to you guys, but I think
Okay,
it's,
maybe if we don't match it, then we go up a higher percentage than it is. And I mean, this drives me a little nuts in terms of looking at percentages. Right, you should be basing the salary off the requirements of the job. Just because it was a part-time job and people were paid $25,000 a year years ago, it's not a part-time job. If it becomes it again, we can change it. Like I said, you're gonna pay, I mean, what do we pay for our accountant right now?
oh, she's like $425 an hour.
But what's the total that we're budgeting?
Oh, 13,000.
Yeah, 13,000. So take the budget officer responsibilities away, pay an accountant more. What are you gonna pay an actual accountant to do that for you? I don't know. I think the positions as currently,
Well, what?
I mean, are you working 40 hours a week? Is Kate working 40 hours a week? Like, these are 50, sometimes 60-hour a week jobs.
What's your proposal?
60, like, get it closer to the 65 range and then get it to parity next year.
Do you want to figure out what that would be? It has to be divisible by 52.
And now you're asking, come on. Before I do, I mean, what do you guys?
I don't think this is the year to do that. But I agree with the principle of it. What's your statement?
Mine is pretty big. The
Statement.
town, let's see. 57. Mine is 9%.
I don't think we can-
So that's a $6,000 and get
I
it.
think we can do that. Listen, yeah,
I think we should continue to look for parity as we go along.
yeah,
And increase, accountability for that office. See if it'll step up.
so on the highway superintendent, we'll roll that increase back. Right?
Yeah. Mhm. That one's fun.
Which I totally agree with.
Additional 3%, that's just under 65, that's not divisible by 50.
I hear that the board wants to leave it as is.
I don't think we can go to the taxpayers over 12%.
I just don't want Aaron getting a whole bunch of outrage about this.
Oh, we'll get it.
No, I'll
No,
get it.
she'll get it.
I'll get it.
Cause it's the
I
same thing.
appreciate that you would take it, but I think that that is true. And I think what is in the budget is generous over, you know, what my current salary is. It's a generous increase.
I disagree, but it seems like I'm in the minority, so.
Yeah. Okay,
But I don't think you have to budge.
you can't do that. Okay, did you have any other changes?
This is translated. It's my whole, it looks like a delta. The main is here, this. As opposed to the house frontage, more like
Yeah, like a oblong, yeah.
biology, you know?
Drawing
Biological.
biological.
Drawing again. Two things I wish I could do is draw and sing. Yeah,
Okay. So we, like, I'll make a motion that the town of Rochester Town Board sets the preliminary budget as presented and amended at the meeting and schedules the public hearing on the 2026 Town of Rochester preliminary budget pursuant to Town Law 108 to be held Thursday, November 6, 2025, to immediately follow the public hearing for local law F 2025 at the Harold Lipton Community Center, 15 Tobacco Road, Accord, New York, 12404, and request the town clerk circulate a public notice. The preliminary budget will be filed with the town clerk and available for viewing at the town clerk's office and on the town website.
second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carries. I did not have time to call references. So I wanted to, I'm gonna have to table that, unfortunately. So. Have a motion to adjourn,
Make that motion.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion carries.